Good morning, students. Welcome to online classes. So today I am going to explain structure of compound eye. We are discussing about the nervous system of cockroach. So we discussed about the CNS, PNS, ANS. So the components which are present in the CNS are brain and nerve cord. PNS, the nerves which are arising from the brain and nerve cord. ANS, autonomous nervous system, also called as somatogastric nervous system, which control and coordinate the alimentary canal, like visceral organs, alimentary canal and heart. Today, sense organs. So we already discussed about the sense organs that consist sensory receptors. Different types of receptors, 4 types of receptors are there. In the earlier classes, we discussed about the 4 types of receptors. So in that, first the most important sense organs. The most important sense organs are the compound eyes. So where the compound eyes are present? Compound eyes are present at dorsolateral sides of head. So this is the head of cockroach. Head of cockroach, dorsolateral sides of head. Dorsolateral, dorsal side and lateral sides. Dorsal and lateral sides, dorsolateral sides of the cockroach, that consists one pair of eyes which are called compound eyes. These eyes are called compound eyes, which are useful for the sense of vision. Okay, sense of vision. Compound eyes, one pair of compound eyes are present at dorsolateral sides of head. And if you see the structure of one compound eye, compound eyes are kidney shaped. Okay, compound eyes are kidney shaped compound eyes, and each compound eye, it is made up with small units, approximately 2000 units. Each compound eye is formed by the approximately 2000 small units, which are called ommatidia. Okay, these are called ommatidia. The small units which are present in the compound eye are called ommatidia. So ommatidia, this is ommatidia. If you see the structure of an ommatidia, so it is a elongated cells. Like this, 2000 ommatidia are present in one compound eye. This is one compound eye. Each compound eye is made up with 2000 small units, which are called ommatidia or simple eyes. Like this, 2000 units are present in each compound eye. Compound, it is union of simple eyes. 2000 simple eyes are unite to form only one eye, which is called compound eye. And each ommatidium is present like this. Each ommatidium is present like this, which is an elongated cell. This part only visible outside. Okay, cornea, the outer part of the cornea, outer part of the compound eye is called cornea. It is only visible outside. Okay, cornea only visible outside, and that cell is present like this. So cornea only visible outside. It is an elongated cell. Like this, 2000 units are present in each compound eye. 2000 units are present in each compound eye, and each unit is called ommatidia. It is called ommatidia. Okay, ommatidia, 2000 ommatidia are present. And if you see the structure of one ommatidia that has 2 regions. First region, anterior region is called dioptric region or dioptric part. Then posterior region is called receptive part. Dioptric region or focusing region. First part is the dioptric region or focusing region. Second part is the receptive region. What are the functions of these 2 regions? Dioptric region allow the light entering inside into the eye. Okay, allow the light entering inside into the eye and focus the light onto the next part of the ommatidia. Okay, light which is fall on the cornea, that is entering inside into the eye through this part, which is called dioptric part or focusing part, which focus the light onto the next part. So second part is the receptive part, photoreceptor part. This photoreceptor part that receive the light okay, that receive the light or an object, image of an object that convert into the impulses. It convert the image into the impulses. That impulses are transmitted to the optic nerve to the brain. So the message is processed in the brain, that is carried through the optic nerve. That means image is formed here. Then light is focused on this part through this region, dioptric region. Two regions are present which are called dioptric region and receptive region. Two regions are present in the each compound eye. So this is the compound eye. Each compound eye that consists 2000 units, 2000 hexagonal units. This is one ommatidia, second, third, fourth, like this. 2000 ommatidia are resting on a membrane. 2000 ommatidia resting on a membrane which is called basement membrane. Okay, from this 2000 ommatidia one nerve is arises which is called optic nerve. It is called optic nerve. Optic nerve is carried towards the brain. It sends the impulses to the brain. So where that optic nerve is arises, optic nerve is arising from the basement membrane or from the ommatidia. 2000 ommatidia present like this. Okay, next structure of ommatidia. Structure of ommatidia. So ommatidia, it has two regions. First one is the dioptric part. Dioptric part. First part is the dioptric part. The dioptric part of ommatidia, it consists cornea. It consists cornea. First part is the cornea. This one is cornea, which is visible outside. Okay, if the ommatidia is present like this part only visible outside. This part of the ommatidia is called cornea. Okay, this one is called cornea. So cornea is covered with hexagonal units. It is covered with hexagonal units which are called facets. Facets, just like plates, sclerites. The sclerite which cover the cornea is called facet. The sclerite or plate that cover the cornea is called facet. So 2000 cornea means how many facets are present? 2000 facets are present. Each cornea is covering with one facet. So 2000 cornea are present. 2000 ommatidia means 2000 cornea. And each cornea is covering with one plate which is called facet. 2000 facets are present. That means facets are only visible outside. Then cornea is a transparent. Cornea is a transparent, just like glass, which allow the light. So it is a transparent, biconvex. So transparent biconvex part of the ommatidia is called cornea, which is secreted by the corneogen cells. Which is secreted by the corneogen cells present just below the cornea. Just below the cornea, one pair of cells are present which are called corneogen cells. These corneogen cells that secretes the cornea. Okay, now, corneogen cells secretes the cornea. Where the corneogen cells are present, just below the cornea, there are one pair of cells which are called corneogen cells. Next part, corneogen cells. Corneogen cells. How many corneogen cells? Two corneogen cells are present. What is the function of corneogen cell? Secretes cornea. Okay, it secretes cornea. That is the function of corneogen cells. Okay, the first part is the cornea, which is visible outside. It is a transparent biconvex part which allow the light entering inside. Below the cornea, there are one pair of corneogen cells which secretes cornea. Then below the corneogen cells, there are four cells which are called cone cells. Cone cells are four cone cells are present here. These are the cone cells. Okay, now 4 cone cells are present. They are present in the transverse section like this. 4 cells are present. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now first cone cell, second, third, fourth, 4 cone cells are present. These are the cone cells which are present below the carniogen cells. These cone cells, inside the cone cell there is one structure which is called crystalline cone. Okay, inside the cone cells are present like this, 1, 2, 3, 4 surrounding. In the center of the cone cells there is one crystalline cone. There is one crystalline cone. Then these cone cells only that form the crystalline cone. Okay, surrounding the crystalline cone there are 4 cells which are called cone cells. Cone cells that form a crystalline cone. Next part is a crystalline cone. Crystalline cone, it is only one which is present in the center. The center part is called crystalline cone and surrounded with 4 cone cells. So this part up to here, this part of the ommatidia is called dioptric part. What is the function of this part? This part of ommatidia that allow the light entering inside and focus the light onto the next part of the ommatidia. Just it is not involving in the image formation. It is not helpful in the image formation. Just it allow the light which is coming from outside, light of an object coming from outside, and focus onto the next part of ommatidia which is called receptive part. Then what are the parts present in this part? Parts are the cornea. Okay, cornea, outermost cell is called cornea. Below the cornea, carniogen cells are present. Then below the carniogen cells, cone cells are present. How many? 4 cone cells are present which are surrounded by a cone which is called crystalline cone. And one more here, this part, cone cells, carniogen cells are surrounded by a sheath which is called iris pigment sheath. Okay, it is covering with one sheath which is called iris pigment sheath. This part of ommatidia, it is called dioptrical region. This dioptrical light is focused here. This light is first transferred to the cornea into the carniogen cells, then into the cone cells into the next part. Okay, next part is the receptive part of ommatidia. Clear? So first part, it is dioptric part. Then second part of the ommatidia. What is the second part? Second part is the receptive part. Receptive part or photoreceptor region. This region is also called as photoreceptor region. Where it is present? Just below the dioptrical region there is receptive part. Receptive region, photoreceptor region. Then what are the cells present in the photoreceptor region? Photoreceptor region that consists of cells which are called retinulae. Okay, now these cells are called retinulae which are 7 in number. These cells are called retinulae. Okay, retinulae are present like this, first cell, second cell, third one, fourth one, like this. So these are also present in surrounding one structure which is present in the center. Retinulae, this is one retinular cell. Okay, inside of the retinular cell that consists some hair-like structures which are called microvilli. These are called microvilli. First retinular cell, next second one. Okay, all these are fused to form. The one structure in the center called rhabdome. This part is called rhabdome. Here cone cells that surrounding the crystalline cone. Okay, cone cells are 4 in the center, crystalline cone is present. Same like that, retinular cells are 7 in number. They are present like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this, 7. They are 7 in number. In the center of the retinular cells there is one structure which is called rhabdome or rhabdomere. It is called rhabdomere. So here in the receptive part, how many cells are present? Retinular cells are 7, and all these retinular cells inner side they are fused to form one rhabdome. So rhabdome is single rhabdome. One rhabdome is present, and all these cells are resting on a membrane. All these cells, retinal cells, rhabdome, they are resting on a membrane which is called basement membrane. All these cells, this part of the ommatidium is called receptive part. This part is called dioptric part. So receptive part, it is resting on a membrane which is called basement membrane. So from this, so one nerve is arises which is called optic nerve, which receive the impulses from the here and send it to the brain. And image is formed here, like objective which is focused on this part, that converting into impulses. That impulses are carried to the optic nerve and reaches to the brain, which is processed by the brain. Brain only process that image, impulses. This is second part, receptive part. What are the components present in the receptive part? Retinulae. 7 retinular cells are present. Inner side of each retinulae that consists microvilli that form a structure in the center which is called rhabdome. It is called rhabdome. So rhabdome only surrounded with 7 cells. And all these retinal cells are resting on a membrane which is called basement membrane. Then from the basement membrane one nerve arises which is called optic nerve, which collect the impulses from here. Actually image is formed here only. In the receptive part only image is formed. Photoreceptor region which is involving in the formation of image. Okay, so these are the two parts present in one ommatidium. Like this, all the and again here retinal cells. Retinal cells are also surrounding with a sheath which is called retinal pigment sheath. Okay, now retinal cells are surrounding with a sheath called retinal pigment sheath. Here two types of sheath are present. First part, dioptric region is surrounding with a sheath called iris pigment sheath. Then retinal cells are surrounding with a sheath called retinal pigment sheath. Two layers that surrounding the total ommatidium. What is the function of this sheath? That prevent the entry of light which is coming from adjacent ommatidia. Example here, one sheath is present. Light focused on here, cornea. So it receives the light which is focused on here only, not from here. Because both ommatidia are separated by the sheath. This ommatidia is separated from here. Okay, this ommatidia is separated from this ommatidia. So ommatidia are separated. Ommatidia are separated by sheath, which are called retinal pigment sheath and iris pigment sheath, that prevent the entry of the light from adjacent ommatidia. That means one ommatidia that receive the light which is coming from the cornea. This ommatidia that receive the light which is coming from the cornea due to the presence of this type of sheath. Okay, so this is the structure of compound eye. Compound eye that has two regions which are called dioptric region and receptive region. Dioptric region that consists cornea. Cornea is surrounding with, it is covered with plate which is called facet. How many ommatidia are present? 2000. Each ommatidia that is covered with, that starts with the cornea which is covered with facet. Cornea is transparent just like glass, which allow the light and focus the light. Below the cornea there are corneogen cells. One pair of corneogen cells are present. Then below the corneogen cells there are cone cells. Cone cells are also called as vitrillae. Cone cells are also called as vitrillae or Semper cells. Vitrillae or Semper cells. Okay, now cone cells. Number is important here. One cornea in each ommatidium, one cornea, two corneogen cells. One cornea, two corneogen cells. How many crystalline cone? One crystalline cone. And cone cells. How many cone cells? 4 cone cells. Number of cone cells are 4. And it is covering with sheath which is called iris pigment sheath. Below that there are 7 retinular cells. 7 retinular cells. In the center it has one rhabdome. Then it is covering with one sheath called retinal pigment sheath. And all these cells are resting on a membrane called basement membrane, from which that optic nerve arises. So structure of a compound eye. Then how it functions of the compound eye. So compound eye of cockroach, it works, it is useful for the vision, and this compound eye, the vision which is formed by the compound eye of cockroach is called mosaic vision. Mosaic vision or opposition image. Opposition image. This image is called opposition image or mosaic image. This image is formed by the fusion of several small images. For example, if we see one duster or chalk piece, so this is an object. This object that divides into 2000 units. Each unit is focused on the each ommatidia. Each unit is focused on the each ommatidia. So this part, one object, for example, table or chair. Table or chair that divides into the 2000 units. One part of the table is focused on one ommatidium. Second part of the table is focused on second ommatidium. Like that 2000. Then the table is also divides into the 2000 units, 2000 small pieces. All these pieces are fused to form one complete image which is table. Okay, complete image is formed by the 2000 small images, 2000 small images, 2000 pictures. One image, one object that divides into the 2000 units, 2000 pictures. All these 2000 pictures are located on the, focused on the 2000 ommatidia. And all these are fused to form only one picture, one complete picture. So that is, that may be table or any object. Okay, any object that focused on the ommatidia, that focused on the compound eye. Object first divides into 2000 units. And each unit is focused on the one unit of the compound eye, which is called ommatidia. Here one unit is formed, second one, like that. All these are fused to form one complete image. One complete image is formed. So this type of image formation is called a mosaic vision. It is called mosaic vision or opposition image. Okay, now, mosaic vision or opposition image is formed in the cockroach. How it is formed? Object that divides into 2000 small units and each unit is focused on the 2000 one ommatidia. Total 2000 pieces are united to form only one image. This type of image is called a mosaic image or opposition image. Okay, now, so it is not a clear image. It's not a clear image. So it is more sensitive. More sensitive, but it is not a clear image. Clear images are not formed on the compound eyes of cockroach. So working of compound eye of cockroach. Okay, na? So sense organs, first sense organ, compound eye. Then simple eyes are also present. On the base of the antennae, simple eyes are present. Also called as fenestra. These simple eyes are not involving in the image formation. Just they are sensitive to light. Okay, they are sensitive to light. So they identify the changes in the intensity of light. But simple eyes are not useful for the image formation. So for image formation, these are only helpful. Compound eyes which are having the ommatidia. These are only playing an important role in the image formation. Clear? Right.